Did Diddy's youngest victims speak out? Are A-list celebrities scrambling to keep their names out of the headlines? What shocking details has the lawyer uncovered? Join us as we dive into the latest bombshell revelations in the Diddy scandal. The lawyer making waves. Let's start with the man at the center of these new developments, Tony Busby. This Texas attorney has been making headlines lately, and for good reason. He's representing over 120 people who are accusing Diddy of some pretty serious stuff. But here's where it gets really interesting. Busby isn't just going after Diddy. He's setting his sights on some of Diddy's famous friends too. Now, we need to be clear here. These are all allegations at this point. Nothing's been proven in court yet. But what Busby is claiming is pretty jaw-dropping. He says that some of Diddy's celebrity pals might have been involved in covering up sexual abuse that allegedly happened at Diddy's parties. We're talking about some potentially big names here. The quiet settlements. Now, here's where things get even more intriguing. Busby says that some of these celebrities are already trying to settle things quietly outside of court. Why? Well, they're hoping to avoid being named in any public lawsuits. It's like they're trying to sweep this under the rug before it hits the headlines. Busby explained it like this on TMZ Live. In every single case, especially cases like this, we collect our data, collect our evidence, do our due diligence, spend time with the victim, and then because it's in the best interest of the victim, we attempt to resolve these matters without the filing of a public lawsuit, and we have done that already. He even added that they've settled with a handful of individuals, many of which you've heard of before. The legal strategy. So, what's Busby's game plan here? Well, he's not just going after the people who allegedly committed abuse. He's casting a wider net. In his words, if you were attending one of these parties, and you knew what was going to happen, that is, you knew that a particular drug was being used in drinks that was causing people to be coerced and taken advantage of, and you were there in the room, or you participated, or you watched it happen and didn't say anything, or you helped cover it up. In my view, you have a problem. That's a pretty broad definition, right? It's not just about the alleged abusers, but also the people who might have known and said nothing. It's like he's saying, if you saw something and didn't speak up, you're part of the problem too. The scope of the allegations. Now, let's talk about the scale of what we're dealing with here. Busby announced on October 1st that he's filing a class action lawsuit against Diddy. He's representing 120 alleged victims. And here's where it gets really disturbing. Some of these victims were reportedly minors at the time of the alleged abuse. We're talking about accusations that go back as far as 1991 and continue right up to 2024. The ages of the alleged victims are particularly shocking. Busby claims the youngest was just 9 years old at the time of the alleged incident. There's also a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old among the accusers. In total, 25 of the 120 people Busby is representing say they were minors when the alleged abuse occurred. These alleged victims aren't just from one area either. They're spread out across the country in states like California, Florida, Georgia, and New York. It paints a picture of a problem that, if true, was widespread and long-lasting. Diddy's legal troubles, of course, all of this is happening against the backdrop of Diddy's existing legal problems. He was arrested on September 16th and charged with sex trafficking crimes. He's currently behind bars after being denied bail twice. The charges against him are pretty serious. Prosecutors are alleging that he ran a criminal enterprise through his businesses, using threats, violence, and coercion to fulfill his sexual desires. One particularly disturbing allegation involves what prosecutors are calling freak-offs. They claim Diddy would use force or threats to make victims engage in extended sexual acts with male sex workers. It's a grim picture, to say the least. Now, it's important to note that Diddy and his team are strongly denying all of these allegations. His attorney, Erica Wolf, released a statement saying, Mr. Combs emphatically and categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors. They're calling this a reckless media circus and say they're looking forward to proving Diddy's innocence in court. The broader implications. So, what does all this mean in the bigger picture? Well, it's shining a pretty harsh light on the music industry as a whole. If these allegations turn out to be true, It would suggest that this kind of behavior was not only happening, but was potentially known about and covered up by multiple people in the industry. It raises some really tough questions. How could something like this allegedly go on for so long without being stopped? Were there people in positions of power who knew and did nothing? And if so, what does that say about the culture of the music industry? What happens next? As for what's coming next, well, we're in for a wait-and-see situation. Busby says he's planning to file lawsuits against several A-list celebrities on behalf of his clients. But he's also trying to settle some cases quietly, out of the public eye. So we might not hear about every accusation or settlement. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team is gearing up for a fight. They're adamant about proving his innocence in court. But with the number of accusers and the seriousness of the allegations, it's going to be an uphill battle. It's crucial that we don't lose sight of the alleged victims in all of this. If these accusations are true, we're talking about people who have carried these traumatic experiences with them for years, sometimes decades. The fact that so many are coming forward now shows how the landscape has changed. People feel more empowered to speak up about abuse, even when it involves powerful figures. Lastly, let's bring it all together. We've got a high-profile music mogul behind bars, facing serious charges. We've got a lawyer representing over 120 alleged victims, some of whom were reportedly minors at the time. And now we're hearing that some of Diddy's celebrity friends might be involved too, at least in terms of knowing what was going on. It's a complex, disturbing story that's still unfolding. We don't know yet how it will all play out in court, but one thing's for sure, it's going to have far-reaching implications for the music industry and beyond. As always, we'll be keeping a close eye on this story as it develops. Remember, these are still allegations at this point, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But if true, this could be one of the biggest scandals in music industry history. So, what do you think about all this? Do you think more celebrities will be named? How do you think this will impact the music industry moving forward? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this developing story. Until next time, take care and stay informed.